And welcome back to the Complete Idiot's Guide to Stationeers with 54 Bear, the Complete Idiot. After a recent comment on one of the videos, specifically looking at the calling system, I realized I'd made a bit of a boo-boo. Oh, look at this. This is something that can happen when you load into a world. Large chunks of it just don't render right away. Usually they will come back. If you walk over here, you will fall through the world. And then usually, oh, in this case we fell right through it. And there we go. Yeah, usually the game will correct it, but it doesn't always. So, yeah. One of the quirks when you load up a game and start playing before the terrain renders. Anyway, back to the point. I made a boo-boo. Boo-boo was I completely forgot who I was aiming these videos at. And that's the brand new player or the player returning after an extended period of time who may not want to get into all of the phase change mechanics, which, to be honest, are a little tough to get into. The attempt I was making to get a fancy phase change cooling device were totally beyond the scope. So what I'm going to do is revisit the cooling of the greenhouse, and we're going to do it using the more traditional way, or a suitable early game way of doing it. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to need an atmospherics kit. This is what makes the air conditioner, and I need some copper. Fortunately, I did go mining, so we'll print up one of those. We're also going to want some passive vents and piping. Let's see, how much do I have? Need a little more. Going to need a pressure regulator. Okay, let's get the... or will I? Actually, no, I think I can do without a pressure regulator. Going to need a little bit more pipe, though. The pipe of the insulated variety. Oh, what did I do there? There we go. Oh, I must have hit the power button. Yeah, I did it again. In my defense, I'm old and stupid. Okay, insulated pipe. Go. So I have 5. I'm going to want probably another 10. I'm also going to want a lot of pollutants. I think I'm going to want more than that. These tanks can take up to 20, I think, before they break. So let's put it at 19.5. And I will need a little more. We can vent the furnace, so yeah, it'll be a little hot, but that's not a problem. We can get it cooled down fairly quickly. That's going to be enough of that. Okay, so lobbeth this in there. And what else do I want? Oh, yes. A fridge. There's 2 variants, large and small. We'll go with the large one because, to be honest, I find the small one a little bit awkward to deal with. And again, especially now because we have the phase change mechanics in place, I don't know how that affects things. Because the whole idea of using the small fridge was you to attach it to a gas supply that was very cold. Now you have to be very careful with gas changing temperature that you don't accidentally turn it into a thing that's going to break your pipes. Because if certain gases get too cold, they freeze solid and they break your pipes almost instantly. Right, so okay, that's building up some pressure. That's good. You know what? We'll grab the CO2 as well. Just as a refresher, the furnace can be output to this storage tank. I was going to attach a cooling system to it, but never got around to it. I can also filter out those contents as well, but right now all I'm doing is draining the furnace. So, yeah. All right, so we have the fridge. Lobbeth that in there. Oh, we're going to need more cable as well, because I do not have enough cable. If I'd been prepared, I would have printed all this stuff up beforehand. All right, anything else I'm going to want in here? Sniffer-matic. Yes, definitely going to want that. In case you're wondering, this is the Mark II tool belt that comes out of the Mark II tool printer. It gives you a couple of extra tool slots, and cable and tablets are both classified as tools, so it gives you a little bit more space in your backpack. I don't need to be carrying the heavy cables. I also don't need to be carrying around the mining backpack. Okay, how much do we have in that? 30. Should be enough. Okay, I think we have everything to get started. So I'm going to do a bit of building inside, and then I'll be adding something outside as well. We are going to need to play around with cooling the gas that we're going to use as the coolant. Ooh. And you see things are a bit of a mess here. One cheaty game mechanic is when you use the portable air conditioner, it can contain a lot of heat or a lot of cold, depending on what you've been using it for. And at some point it becomes saturated. It will not work anymore. A cheat, you delete it, reconstruct it, and it resets it back to 0. It's a bit cheaty. I tend not to do it that much. All right, let's put this away. And we'll drag this over here. Ta-da! Okay. I should really get rid of this. When I was playing around earlier, I was able to get it to phase outside. Like that. Shouldn't really be possible, but it does happen if you pick it up right close to a window. Okay, first thing, food decays. This corn will decay in an hour. Corn is kind of a crappy thing to grow. It takes a long time to grow. See, let's lob that away. So this is thriving. The potatoes have already gone to seed stage before this has actually grown. And when you grow it, let's see, put one corn in here, turn the microwave on, you get a corn on the cob. Let's see, let's unlock and open the helmet. And the food this will actually fill you up, but it consumes the entire thing. Not recommended for long-term survival. But anyway, you'll notice it decays fairly quickly, which is where the fridge comes in. So the fridge gives you an option. Which way around is it? Yeah, we're okay. Power on the right. I'll put that there. Even without it connected, we put the corn in there. Now it will last for 6 hours. If we get some power to it.
Power low.
And turn it on. Now you'll see it will last for 19 hours. So you can significantly extend the shelf life by using a fridge. Almost like the real world. Let's put that outside too. See, and there I am saying I don't like doing it, and I'm already abusing the mechanic. Okay, next thing is, let's get the air conditioner started. I don't need that other table just yet. Oh, not certain if I mentioned this. There is an analyzer cartridge you can add. It is called the Plant Analyzer. It is used for, surprise, surprise, analyzing plants. It will give you, you can use the scroll wheel on your mouse to go through the various things. You can use it to monitor the health. So if your plant appears to be dying, you can get a good indication from this what the likely cause of the problem is. There are plenty of other, or there are other things you can do to genetically engineer plants, but that's well beyond the scope of what we're doing. All right, so with our atmospherics kit, what I'm going to do is place it, I'm going to place it just here so that the inlet and the outlet are in different grids. This is the inlet here, this is the outlet, this is the waste. The way it works is it takes air in, it will either add heat or remove heat and output the result from here. The heat that it either adds or removes goes into the waste output. So, and I did not print any passive vents. That is a problem. I will rectify that momentarily. Just lob this stuff out of the way. Not certain if I actually...
Low pressure.
Oh
Oxygen
dear.
critical.
Close and lock.
Pressure critical. Temperature critical.
I refer you once again to the title of these videos, The Complete Idiot. I have no passive vents. Let's print a couple. For the way I'm going to do this, the down and dirty way, I'm just going to use 2. Now, that'll be enough. Okay, so all I'm going to do is put a passive vent here and a passive vent here. It's just going to take the air in, do whatever it needs to do, and eject it here. The waste, on the other hand, we need to move out. You would not want to have a passive vent on the waste, because then the air conditioner doesn't actually do anything. So we'll build up our AC unit. Where did I put the cable? There. And it needs a screwdriver. There we go. Whilst I've got the cable in the hand, may as well cable it up. It only needs cable to the power, as we're not going to do any fancy logic stuff with this. Also, you may have noticed the air conditioner has a logic circuit receptacle, so you can put in one of the IC codes or a chip with IC code on it if you fancy getting into the MIPS. But we're not going to do that. What I am going to do is connect up this, and I'm going to kind of route this outside for reasons which will become apparent. Now obviously when you place a pipe down, there's nothing in it. So if I was to turn the air conditioner on right now and say start, it's not actually going to do anything because there is nothing in this pipe. So the air conditioner, it's trying, because the room temperature is, 23, 24 degrees. It's trying to cool it down at the moment to 20, but it can't do it because it has no gas to actually transfer the heat to. So you need to put some gas in here. One thing I've seen people do is they'll just use the same gas in the room. They'll fill it up with whatever's in the room. That's not a good idea because it will very quickly either turn to liquid or solidify and break your pipe. And you can have all manner of problems then, especially if the break happens on a transition between the inside and the outside. That essentially creates a hole in the wall and pumps all your gas outside. Okay, so that's all we're going to do here. I'm going to turn this off because it's not actually going to do anything just yet. And we'll go outside for the next bit. Don't need that in my hand. Okay, so for this we will need our tube of pollutants. Actually, thinking about it, that may be a little much for it. So that's, and you'll notice it's away from the wall. I deliberately did that. Okay, and we'll just give it at least one straight pipe. We'll get our utility thing, and we will build a fill station. Okay, and that instantly equalizes. And let's see, how much gas do we have in there? Right, we got 7 point something megapascals and 200 moles. So yeah, that should easily be enough. But the temperature is 160 odd degrees. So what we're going to do is swap this for a radiator. Now you can put these convection radiators on. Even though the moon is at a vacuum, it will work, just not very fast. You really want it to work, put on one of those. And we should see the temperature go down quite rapidly now. It is tempting to leave that radiator on. However, it's not a good idea because you'll notice it's already beginning to turn to liquid. So let's pull it off. I may have left it on too long. Yeah, stress is increasing. I think I put too much gas in there. Okay, let's see if we can fix this by just making the pipe network a little larger. Reduce the pressure. Okay, stress is going down. Yeah, and it's turning back into gas. I must reiterate, I am still learning the phase change mechanics myself and getting comfortable with when you need to add pressure in order to, or remove pressure to stop this kind of thing happening. You really want to keep the pollutants out of. An easy fix to this would be to put on a passive, purge valve, I think? Not a purge valve, a liquid drain. It fits on the pipe and you don't have to worry about it anymore. The only drawback to that is it will gradually remove the pollutants from the system. I didn't want to do that. So another cheaty thing, if I start deleting the pipe from this end, it basically pushes all the gas back in there and we're back to the same problem. If I do that, I've now got a section of pipe that has gas in it. It will be increasing until it reaches the end. If you delete that, all of the gas is gone.
Critical.
Okay, so we should be at a relatively stable pressure now. Yep, so 5 megapascals is about right. I'll leave the tank there. It just gives it a little bit extra volume. And actually, I'm going to add one section back. And let's add a radiator on it and see if we can get it a little cooler without having it all turn into liquid again. Okay, so yeah, it's coming down in temperature. Now, at some point in a long game, when you're looking to establish a long-term base, you would almost certainly want to have some automation that would actually deal with this. If we left the system unchecked, bearing in mind the air conditioner in there is going to be cooling it all the time, all it's going to be doing is dumping its heat into this pipe, and at some point it would become overpressured, because the hotter it gets, the higher the pressure is going to get, and something would basically blow up. So periodically you are going to need to purge the heat from this pipe network, or this pipe system that you're using to cool it. The easy way of doing it is you get the temperature down to, I don't know, something close to room temperature, and then take the remove this pipe radiator, remembering that the insulated pipes are perfectly insulated, so they will not radiate heat on their own, at least as far as I know they don't. And you just keep an eye on it, and once a month you need to add on the pipe radiator for a bit. Ideally you'd have logic that would manage a series of valves that would pump in a section of pipe that has radiators attached to it. It would fill it up. That would cool down the whole network. When it got to its desired temperature, you'd then shut off the valves or reverse the flow or whatever to drain that section, so that the coolant doesn't continue to cool to a point where it damages the pipes. Okay, what's my suit telling me? Oh, hydration is low. Big surprise. Okay, so just keeping an eye on it. We'll get it down to 40 degrees Celsius, that's fine. And pollutants, by the way, is a very good gas to use for cooling and heating. When you look at the phase change diagram in the Stationopedia, it has a very wide operating range. All right, so I'm going to call that good enough. Get my spanner, take that off. And because we're on the moon, I can just leave that nearby. These things I'll leave there. Okay, so now we have working coolant. Anything else I need to take inside? Don't think so. Now we can turn this on. When you click these buttons, it goes in tens. So you hold down the C button and click and say, okay, we want it set at 25. Okay, and like this, it's not working. You have to click the start button, and that will now be bringing down the ambient temperature, which is currently 27. Oh, actually, it's showing 25 already. And as it works, you'll see the temperature in the pipe or in the waste network will gradually increase. So you just keep an eye on it. Once it gets to 80 or 100 or something, go outside, attach a radiator till it cools down, and then you'll be okay. As I mentioned before, just to reiterate, if you did leave the radiator attached all the time, the coolant will come down to such a point where things will start freezing up and you'll get into problems. Okay, now there are wall coolers, which I
Power critical.
haven't actually printed any, because I believe they have the same issue with the freezing stuff. Although with wall coolers, I don't know, maybe it's easier to manage it. I don't know, but if you use wall coolers, they're either on or off. You'd need to have some logic in place to turn them on and off to automate your temperature control. I did have an earlier video on a Schmidt trigger, which is a slightly advanced way of doing it. It allows you to specify an upper and lower range, so the thing's not turning on and off all the time. Trying to keep it at exactly 25 degrees or whatever you set it at. Feel free to have a look at that. You may find that interesting if you like messing around with the logic chips. If you like the MIPS stuff, to be honest, these videos are probably not for you. I can do MIPS. I have worked on a MIPS version of the Schmidt trigger. It works very well. It's frankly very easy to use, but it's only really going to be useful for you if that's the kind of thing you want to get into. Now, I tend to leave all my plants long enough so that they produce seeds. Oh, that one didn't. That one did. Ferns take an awful lot of space. Let's just go through collecting all the seeds. And then when you collect your potatoes, it'll decay in a day. As I said, a greenhouse of this size is more than enough to keep you with all the food you could ever need and all the oxygen you could ever need. There are plenty of ways that you can... oh, more seeds. Let's go through collecting all the seeds first. See, when you're holding seeds in your hand, it won't let you pick up anything else. It doesn't like stacking them with anything else. Oh, that one seeded while we were here. Oh, I think I accidentally right-clicked on that one, which deleted it. I really need to have a drink, don't I? Alright, so they're stacking 20s. More seeds. Yeah, the ferns that you harvest, they're like tiny little things, and you've seen the size of the plants. So potatoes would usually be your starting crop, but it can be fun growing other things. If you want to make French fries, you'll need to make soybeans and convert them to oil. There's a whole range of things you can do with the plants. I wasn't going to get into the farming aspect because, to be honest, it's fairly simple and easy to figure out. But rather than use up the seeds, I should just replant potatoes, Mark Watney style. Because the seeds never go off. Now one left. What the hell? Plant another corn. Anyway, so that is greenhouse corning. You can leave this system now. It will run pretty much unattended. You just keep an eye on your waste pipe temperature, and if it gets way too hot for it to be efficient, then add in or add the radiator to the end. Not really certain how useful this information is early game. As long as it's working, it's working. Animation's broken. That door should close. Also, the fan's not turning. It should do. Okay, that's it for this one. Hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll do my very best to get back to you. Thanks for watching. 54 Bear out.